Hey guys! In this video we're going to be making another repaint or custom doll. For this one I'm doing Ariana Grande and I'm using the head from a Barbie Fashionista and then the body from a Made to Move doll, so I really hope you'll enjoy it. As always, you want to start off by removing the face, and for this I'm just using pure acetone. This step is optional and it's not gonna make a huge difference, but Ariana Grande's head is a bit more narrow than this Barbie head, and so I used my X-Acto knife to cut off some of the plastic from the jawline just to make it appear a tiny bit more pointy. This is not gonna help too much with the width of the face, but for that I'm going to be using some shading or contouring and then also moving down the hairline. Now I'm just going to be going through the materials I'm using and also answer a couple of the questions I got on my last repaint video. So the watercolor pencils I use are by Caran d'Ache and Faber-Castell. I'm using the Albrecht Dürer and the SuperColor. I did get some questions asking what sharpener I use, and this is the one. I believe Derwent carries 2 hand crank sharpeners, and there's this one as well as a mini version, and I definitely do recommend this version. Other than using the pencils on their own, I'm mostly applying them using watercolor brushes. And if you're looking for some good quality watercolor brushes in some of the smaller sizes, I do recommend going to any art supply store. I also got some questions asking if I could show how I use them with the brushes, and all I do is that I wet the brush, then touch it to the tip of the pencil to pick up the pigment, and then it's ready to paint. I also use some soft pastels, and basically you want colors in matching colors to the skin, so what would typically be a foundation color, as well as some colors for contours and highlights. And then I also used a pink and a white, which was just for blush, and then some really Instagram worthy highlighting too. Last material is acrylic paint, and I'm just using this for some of the details around the eyes and the eyebrows. After priming it with a sealant, I'm using Mr. Super Clear for this one because I ran out of the one I usually use. I'm just using a pencil or a watercolor pencil to sketch out where I want the eyes. I'm then going over them again to define them, and I then started building up the first layer of shading. My initial idea was actually to repaint this on a Monster High doll because I thought it would be cool with the kind of characterized bubbly head effect, but just in case this is something you want to see more of, and also if it is, please do feel free to leave requests in the comments. I wanted to make sure that I could get a variety of normal skin tones because, quite frankly, I don't see a lot of pink and green celebrities. So the ideal when making a repaint that's supposed to look like a specific person would be to have one of the dolls that are supposed to actually look like them, just because that way you will have a more accurate head sculpt, which is also going to give you a better result. However, those are usually a lot more expensive compared to a normal Barbie, and not only are they never sold where I live, but you might also not be able to find one for the specific person you want to repaint. So as I mentioned, because the head of this doll is quite a bit more wide than Ariana Grande's head, I'm going to be fixing some of it with some contouring, and then I'm also going to be strategically placing the hair around the face. I also roughly sketched out the new hairline, and this is not meant to look neat. It's just to give myself a better guideline for what the face is going to look like, or what her hairline should be looking like at this point. So it's really just for my own sake. Also, in case you're wondering about the hair, I kept it because I was waiting for some hair in the mail, and in case it didn't arrive in time, I would be able to do something with the original hair of the doll. And if it did arrive, since I'm not going to be doing a proper rerouting, I could easily just cut it off and change it. Before I then went in and started defining the eyes a bit more, adding more shading and adding more details, I did spray it with the sealant again, just to seal the first layer of pastel. I also want to apologize for the lighting in this video. I know some of the clips are a bit more dull and some of them are a bit brighter. I chose to record this at a time where the sun was setting outside, so the light was doing weird things. Usually I don't go in with acrylic paint this early in the process, but because the eyeliner is so prominent in this look, I did use the black acrylic paint as one of the first steps when making the eyes. If you wanted to, you could spend more time on it and go in and add some more detail than what I did. But for this one, I'm mostly just interested in seeing what you guys think of the celebrity repaints and if it's something you want to see more of. So do let me know in the comments. Last thing I want to say about the repaint itself is that once I was done, I sprayed it with the sealant again, and then I added some resin to the eyes and also a tiny bit to the bottom lip. For the hair, you have a few different options. You can either use the original hair if it's about the right color, which this technically is. You can reroot the doll, make a wig, or just glue on the hair like I did. After cutting off the original hair, I glued hair onto the back of the head. I then wrapped some ribbon or lace around it just to protect it while gluing on the rest of the hair. Then glued hair onto the front. Made the ponytail, and that's basically it. I also added some watered down glue to the top of the head where the hair looks the most sleek, just so that when you dress and undress the doll, it's not going to mess up the ponytail. This is just going to be a super quick walkthrough of how I made the top. If this is something you would like to see more of, I am going to make more thorough tutorials for the outfits in the future. But both the top and skirt for this one were pretty basic, so I chose just to go through it really quickly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.